Hello friends, welcome to another video of Zeta Axis, and today we are going to discuss about the important water bodies of North American continent. In this video, we will discuss important rivers, lakes, gulfs and seas of North American continent. The whole mapping of North American continent we have divided into four parts. In the first part, we will discuss about countries, cities and island of US. In the second video, we have discussed about the physiological characteristics of North American continent, in which we have discussed about mountains, plateaus and plain region. In the third video, which is this video, we will discuss about rivers, lakes, seas and gulfs of North American continent. And in the fourth video, we will discuss important mineral and agricultural crops of North America. So do watch all of these videos for greater understanding of mapping of North American continent. Now let's see important rivers of North America. So starting with Yukon River, which flows in northwestern part of North America. It originates in British Columbia of Canada and flows through Yukon Territory of Canada. The river finally flows through Alaska to meet Bering Sea. Some of the main tributaries of Yukon River are Porcupine River, Cannon River and Koyukuk River. The next important river of North American continent is Mackenzie River. The Mackenzie River originates from Great Slave Lake. However, its main headstream originates from Rockies Mountain. The main headstream of Mackenzie River are Peace River and Athabasca River. Both of these rivers originate in Rocky Mountains and flow eastwards in the interior lowlands. Both these rivers form an inland delta on the western side of Lake Athabasca. Here, Slave River originates by confluence of Peace River and other smaller tributaries. The Slave River then flows northward to drain into Great Slave Lake. And from the Great Slave Lake originates Mackenzie River. So we can see that the main headstream of Mackenzie River is from Rockies Mountains, and it is connected to both Athabasca and Great Slave Lake. The Mackenzie River is bounded by Mackenzie Mountains on the west. The Mackenzie River from the Slave Lake flows northward and passes through Mackenzie lowlands to empty into Beaufort Sea of Arctic Ocean. The major tributaries of Mackenzie River are Liard River and Peel River. The Liard River forms a divide between the Rockies Mountain in the south and Mackenzie Mountains in the north. Moreover, the Liard River forms the southern boundary of Mackenzie Mountains, while the Peel River forms the northern boundary of Mackenzie Mountains. Now let's discuss about Columbia River. Columbia is the largest river in Pacific Northwest region of North America. The river originates in the Rocky Mountains of British Columbia in Canada. It flows northwest and then south before emptying into Pacific Ocean. The river is 2000 km long and flows through the Columbia Plateau located over here. The largest tributary of Columbia River is Snake River, where the Snake River originates from Yellowstone National Park. The next important river of US is Mississippi River. The Mississippi River is the longest river of North America, flowing for a length of 3,766 km. The Mississippi River, along with its tributaries, drains almost 32 US states and two Canadian provinces between the Rockies and the Appalachian Mountains. The main Mississippi River lies entirely within United States. It rises in Lake Itasca in Minnesota and flows south across the continental interior, collecting the water from its major tributaries. The important western tributaries of Mississippi River are Missouri River and Arkansas, while the important eastern tributaries are Ohio River and Tennessee River. Finally, the Mississippi River empties into Gulf of Mexico near New Orleans, forming a large delta. The next important river is Missouri River, which is an important tributary of Mississippi River. The Missouri River originates in the northwestern region of US and in the Rocky Mountains. Another important river is River Rio Grande. This river originates in south central Colorado in United States and flows towards the Gulf of Mexico. After passing through New Mexico state of US, the river Rio Grande forms border between the Texas state of United States and Mexico. Another important river of North American continent is St. Lawrence River. The St. Lawrence River is a large international river in the western North America, connecting the Great Lakes to the North Atlantic Ocean. Its water flows in a northeasterly direction from Lake Ontario to the Gulf of St. Lawrence, traversing Ontario and Quebec province of Canada and New York province in United States. A section of the river forms Canada-US border. The St. Lawrence River remains an important shipping route as the backbone of the St. Lawrence Seaway, a lock and canal system that enables world marine traffic to access the inland ports of the Great Lakes. Now let's discuss the lakes of North American continent, starting with Great Lakes of North America. The Great Lakes of North America are a series of 5 large interconnected freshwater lakes spanning across the Canada-US border. These 5 lakes are Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. The Great Lakes Waterway enables modern travel and shipping by water among the lakes. All of these lakes are interconnected. The Great Lakes are connected to the Atlantic Ocean via St. Lawrence River. Moreover, the Great Lakes are connected to the Mississippi River Basin through the Illinois Waterway. Lake Superior is the northernmost and westernmost lakes of all the Great Lakes of North America. Lake Superior is the second largest lake in the world after Caspian Sea, which is a brackish or saline lake. Lake Superior is the largest freshwater lake in the world by area, and by volume, Lake Superior is the third largest freshwater lake behind Lake Baikal in Siberia and Lake Tanganyika in East Africa. The Lake Superior drains into Lake Huron via St. Mary's River. The US-Canada border passes through the Lake Superior. Next is Lake Michigan, which is by volume second largest lake of Great Lakes. In the northeast part of Lake Michigan, it is joined with Lake Huron through Strait of Mackinac. Lake Michigan is the only lake in the 5 Great Lakes which is located completely within United States. And the other 4 lakes are shared between US and Canada. It is also the world's largest lake by area that is located fully in one country. Chicago Port is located on the border of Lake Michigan. Next is Lake Huron, which is the third largest freshwater lake on earth, or the fourth largest lake overall. The lake is shared between US and Canada. By volume, Lake Huron is the third largest lake of Great Lakes, surpassed by Lake Michigan and Lake Superior. The main inlet is the St. Mary's River, which brings water from Lake Superior, and the main outlet is through St. Clair River towards Lake Erie. Next is Lake Erie. Lake Erie is the fourth largest lake by surface of the 5 Great Lakes in North America. It is the southernmost, shallowest, and smallest by volume of all the 5 Great Lakes. It is located on the border of US and Canada and shared by both countries. The main natural outflow from the Lake Erie is the Niagara River, which has Niagara Falls. And here, large amount of hydroelectricity is produced, which is supplied to both Canada and US. Lake Ontario is also one of the 5 Great Lakes of North America. It is also located on Canada-US border. Lake Ontario is the easternmost of all the Great Lakes and smallest in surface area. However, in volume, it exceeds Lake Erie. The main water inlet source of Lake Ontario is the Niagara River, which brings water from Lake Erie, and the main outlet from Lake Ontario is the St. Lawrence River, which flows into St. Lawrence Gulf, connecting to Atlantic Ocean. If we summarize the lakes by their surface area, then we can see that among the Great Lakes, Lake Superior has the highest surface area, followed by Huron, Michigan, Erie, and Ontario. On the world level, in all the lakes, if we see, then Lake Superior is the second biggest lake by surface area. Lake Huron is the fourth largest lake by surface area. Then we have Lake Michigan, which is the fifth. And then we have Erie, which is 11th, and Ontario, which is 13th. Remember, this is among all the lakes. And the Caspian Sea is basically a saline lake. So, Superior is the world's largest freshwater lake by area. Now, if we summarize the size of these lakes by volume, then we can clearly see that Lake Superior is again the biggest lake in the Great Lakes by volume, followed by Michigan, Huron, Ontario, and Erie. And at the global level, we can see that Lake Superior is the fourth largest lake by volume, followed by Michigan at 7th, Huron at 8th, and Ontario at 11th, and Lake Erie at 15th. Remember, Caspian Sea is a saline lake, so Superior Lake is the third largest freshwater lake in the world. Now let's discuss about lakes in Canadian Shield of Canada. The first important lake is Great Bear Lake. It is the largest lake entirely located in Canada, and the Arctic Circle passes through this lake. Another lake is Great Slave Lake. The Slave River, which is formed by Peace River, drains into Slave Lake. The Mackenzie River originates from Great Slave Lake. Another important lake is Lake Athabasca. It is fed by Athabasca River and other rivers. Its water flows northward via the Slave River to the Mackenzie River system, eventually reaching the Arctic Ocean. Another important lake is Lake Winnipeg, which is a freshwater lake located near city of Winnipeg in Canada. Another lake in Canada is Reindeer Lake, which is located in Canadian Shield of Canada. An important lake in Central America is Nicaragua. The Lake Nicaragua is a freshwater lake in the country of Nicaragua. It is the largest freshwater lake in Central America. And the lake drains via the San Juan River flowing east to the Caribbean Sea. Now, let's discuss important seas and gulfs located around North American continent, starting with the Gulf of Alaska. In the southern side of Alaska, we have Gulf of Alaska, which is an arm of Pacific Ocean defined by the curve of the southern coast of Alaska. It stretches from Alaskan Peninsula and Kodiak Island in the west to the Alexander Archipelago in the east. Deep water corals can be found in Gulf of Alaska, making it a very productive ecosystem, and the location has been called habitat areas of particular concern. Due to north warm Pacific current flowing over here, warm waters from Kuroshio Current is brought to the coast of Gulf of Alaska. Therefore, the Gulf of Alaska remains ice-free throughout the year. Next important sea is Bering Sea, located in the northeast of Arctic Ocean. The Bering Sea is a marginal sea in northern Pacific Ocean. The Bering Sea is separated from the Gulf of Alaska by Alaskan Peninsula. The Bering Sea is bordered on the east and northeast by Alaska, on the west by Russia and Kamchatka Peninsula, and on the south by Alaskan Peninsula and the Aleutian Islands. And in the north of the Bering Sea, we have Bering Strait, which connects the Bering Sea to the Arctic's Chukchi Sea. The jurisdiction over Bering Sea is shared between United States and Russia. Bristol Bay is the easternmost arm of Bering Sea in southwestern Alaska. Bristol Bay is the portion of Bering Sea between Alaskan Peninsula and mainland southwest Alaska. Bristol Bay is famous for salmon fishing. Bering Strait is the northmost part of Bering Sea or Pacific Ocean. The Bering Strait separates the continents of Asia and North America, and at the narrowest point, we see that these two continents are separated by 85 kilometers. The Bering Strait connects the Bering Sea with Chukchi Sea of Arctic Ocean. The Chukchi Sea is a marginal sea in Arctic Ocean. It is bounded on the west by Long Strait of Wrangel Island and in the east by Point Barrow of Alaska. Beyond the Point Barrow, we have Beaufort Sea. The international date line crosses the Chukchi Sea. Now let's discuss about Beaufort Sea, which is located in the Arctic Ocean on the east of Point Barrow in Alaska. Beaufort Sea is a marginal sea of Arctic Ocean which is located north of the Northwestern Territories and Yukon province of Canada as well as Alaska of US. It is located on the west of Canadian Arctic Archipelago. The Mackenzie River, which is the longest river of Canada, flows into the Beaufort Sea. The Beaufort Sea contains significant resources of petroleum and natural gas under its shelf. The sea hosts one of the largest colonies of beluga whales. Another important bay of North American continent is Hudson Bay, which is an inland marginal sea of the Arctic Ocean. It is the world's second largest bay after Bay of Bengal. Hudson Bay's southern arm is called James Bay. The Hudson Straits provides a connection between Hudson Bay and Labrador Sea, which finally connects into Atlantic Ocean, while the Fox Channel connects the Hudson Bay with Arctic Ocean in the north, and to the east of Fox Channel is Baffin Island. The Hudson Strait links the northern seaports of Canada with Atlantic Ocean. On the eastern side of Baffin Island, we have Baffin Bay. Baffin Bay is again an arm of Atlantic Ocean bounded by Baffin Island in the west and Greenland in the east, and Ellesmere Island in the north. The Baffin Bay connects the Atlantic Ocean through the Davis Strait. The Davis Strait lies between midwestern Greenland and Baffin Island of Canada. To the north is Baffin Bay and to the south is Labrador Sea. The Labrador Sea is an arm of North Atlantic Ocean between the Labrador Peninsula and Greenland. It connects to the north with Baffin Bay through the Davis Strait. Now let's move to Gulf of St. Lawrence. The Gulf of St. Lawrence connects the Great Lakes of North American continent to the Atlantic Ocean via the St. Lawrence River. The Gulf of St. Lawrence is bounded on the north by Labrador Peninsula and Quebec, to the east by Newfoundland, and to the south by Nova Scotia Peninsula. Nearby is located Bay of Fundy. The Bay of Fundy is a bay between Canadian provinces of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, with a small portion touching the US state of Maine. It is an arm of Gulf of Maine. The Bay of Fundy has a very wide tidal range. It has the highest tidal range, that is the highest difference between low tides and high tides. Now let's move on to the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico is mostly surrounded by North American continent. It is bounded on the northeast and north and northwest by Gulf Coast of United States, on the southwest and south by Mexico, and on the southeast by Cuba. The Gulf of Mexico is one of the most important offshore petroleum production regions in the world, making up to 14% of the United States' total oil production. The Gulf of Mexico is connected with the Caribbean Sea via the Yucatan Channel between Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico and Cuba. The Gulf of Mexico is connected to Atlantic Ocean through Straits of Florida between the US state of Florida and Cuba. Cuba also has offshore oil fields within the state of Florida. On the southwestern side of Gulf of Mexico is Bay of Campeche, located west of Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. The Bay of Campeche is surrounded on three sides by Mexican states. The Bay of Campeche has 5 oil wells of Mexico, and it is also an important oil producing region of Mexico. Another important sea in the region is Caribbean Sea, which is located south of Gulf of Mexico. The Caribbean Sea is bounded by the Greater Antilles to the north from Cuba to Puerto Rico, by Lesser Antilles in the east from Virgin Islands to Trinidad and Tobago, and by South America in south. The Caribbean Sea has the world's second largest barrier reef, which is called Mesoamerican Barrier Reef. It runs for 1,000 kilometers along the coast of Mexico, Belize, Guatemala, and Honduras coast. The Caribbean seafloor is also home to 2 oceanic trenches, the Cayman Trench and the Puerto Rico Trench. It put the area at high risk of earthquakes. Within Caribbean Sea, we find Gulf of Honduras, indenting the coast of Belize, Guatemala, and Honduras. The inner Gulf of Honduras is lined by Belize Barrier Reef, which forms southern part of Mesoamerican Barrier Reef system. The Gulf of Darien is the southernmost region of Caribbean Sea, located north and east of the border between Panama and Colombia. The Gulf of Panama is a Gulf of Pacific Ocean on the southern coast of Panama. The Panama Canal connects the Gulf of Panama with Caribbean Sea, thus linking the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean. Another important Gulf is Gulf of California, also known as Sea of Coats or Vermilion Sea, which is a marginal sea of the Pacific Ocean that separates the Baja California Peninsula of Mexico from the Mexican mainland. This gulf is thought to be one of the most diverse seas of Earth and is home to more than 5,000 species of micro-intervertebrates. The parts of Gulf of California are a UNESCO World Heritage Site. With this, we will conclude our video on the important water bodies of North America. Do let us know in the comment if you have any questions. If you have liked the video, then do share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel. If you like what we are doing, then you can contribute to us using the Paytm ID given over here. Thanks for watching the video.